All right, you crazy kids. Today we're looking at a new product, and this is a product that if I don't know if I'll use it a lot, but I can see for a lot of you out there, this could be cool. And it's one of those video capture cards, external. But this one's actually from a company, and I kind of dig their name. You guys can see it here. I don't know why. It's ZowieTek, right? ZowieTek. I think that's kind of cool. Now, this says it's the 4K HDMI video recorder, but based on what I can see, they actually sent the 4K HDMI NDI encoder and decoder, which is kind of cool, right? Anyways, this is the box right here. Now, the bonus of this, for one, is that it's not that expensive, really. When you look at higher end capture cards, coming in around the $150-ish mark, so not too bad. This is what comes in here box, so you will see a quick start guide. Should go everything. Now, the one thing to just kind of be aware of whenever you're playing with something like this or looking at something like this, there is a little bit of a learning curve for video capture, just because this is the box that does the conversion, but you still need to have software that you have to configure to get functioning, which we will probably go into so you guys can see that. You do get a little remote control, which is nice. That's all right. Little remote. Does it come with batteries? Really, that's the key. It feels like it's got a little bit of weight to it. So we'll see. Any batteries in here? No. No. But that doesn't mean there isn't batteries. No, that probably means there isn't batteries. No, no batteries. So you got to supply your own batteries. Oh, that's sad. That's sad. You do get, maybe you don't want to use the remote at all. Maybe you're like, screw the remote. You do get a nice little power brick here. So what is this? It does say quick wall charge. Doesn't seem to necessarily, well, I can't read it. Everything's too small. It's not a super powerful one by any means, just based on its size. Maybe you guys can see it. Maybe you can read that. If so, awesome for you. Not so much for me. And you get a little hot shoe, cold shoe to like tripod mount. Because if you want to mount this, let's say on a camera or onto just a tripod or something, you can, which is pretty sweet. You get your USB-C to USB-C cable, which is what you're going to run from your this to your computer. Now, what it doesn't, of course, have is any of the additional cables. So if you do need specific cables, HDMI cables, those you're going to have to supply. But I get that they're not necessarily putting those in here because they can have a fair bit of value to them. Anyways, this is the box. There's that. I like the fact that it does have a little, tripod, a 1/4 inch, mount on the bottom. It has a little fan for cooling. On the back here, you see you turn it this way. Maybe you have your USB-C, you have your NDI HX3 or a LAN. You have your DC out 12 volt, which I guess, I guess you could have a 12 volt, but they're just going to have it powered. I'm guessing this is how they power it. It's just maybe a standalone coming like into a camera, but no, again, no power plug. That's weird. There's your HDMI on this side. So that's your HDMI in. Again, your screen. You have your HDMI out. Looks like you also get a little micro SD card reader, or that's where you can store this on. You have a USB, so if you want to store your videos directly onto an external hard drive. And then you have your headphone out and your audio out. Audio out, maybe audio in and out. It could be an in and out. So anyways, that's what's in the box. That's what's in the box. It's not bad for size. I'm curious how loud the actual fan is for sure. But there it is, 4K video encoder, decoder, right? Very nice. I have a feeling you can get this in 2 different colors depending on which model you get. Should we just plug it in? Can we plug it in and see if it lights up? Does anything exciting? I think we should. Yes? I'm going to plug it in. Let's say I have a battery, which I do. I have a battery right here. And this would just go in here. Anything happen? Did we get something? Anything? Click? No? Yes? Maybe this doesn't supply enough power? Pretty sure that's a screen. thought. Oh, the screen's on this side. Something's wrong with me. I don't know what this is. That's the screen right there. Anyways, is there a power button? No. That's in all the way. Again, no, none of that. Maybe this isn't pushing out enough power for it, which is also a possibility. Let's plug into this, shall we? I don't see any on-off button. Oh, there we go. Yep. Boom. ZowieTek. So this doesn't seem to have enough power, which is strange, but that does. Oh, and this lights up, right? It's like a little light. All right, that's cool. Anyways, my guess is this will have possibly some settings. Maybe you have your record button. There's not a lot on the actual remote here, but you do have your settings. Now, my guess would be, depending, you have your encoder, your temperature. Oh, you can hear the fans going, right? Your stream, your IP. These would be, I would think, if you are actually memory free. Does this have a card in it? I like that it actually, does it have a card in it already? No, it does not. So I'm curious. Oh yeah, see, TF free. Well, let's take a look at that, shall we? All right, let's just grab one of these. Let's say we were recording onto one of these fine fellas. I'm just going to put one of these in. Click. Let's see if anything pops up. Yeah, 144 gigs. That's actually kind of nice all by itself that it has that. It shows you your BPS, your KBPS, right? All that kind of information. I love that it shows you the temperature of the CPU inside this. That's handy. All right, let's go hook it into the computer and see if we can record some stuff and see what the quality's like. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this, shall we? So, spec wise, you're getting pretty high quality. I love the box. I'm gonna say it. I do love the box for sure. Supports up to 4K Ultra HD video encoding and decoding. Zero lag pass through, which allows for seamless 4K gameplay capture. Now it is 1080p 60. If you want that 60 frames, 4K 30. So depending on what you are recording and what kind of frame rate you want will kind of depend. And it is compatible with NDI HX3. So this is the RTSP, SRT, and RTMPs, facilitating really nice streaming options if you're someone that's going to be using it for that. Does have basically a standalone operation, which is also nice. You could use it all by itself. So this eliminates the need for having to have an actual computer or PC, which will simplify the streaming setup. So if you have a camera, for instance, and you are just going to be having it directly connected to this and then out, that would work. User interface, they say it's simple. Yeah, you know what? You still have to read the manual, but as simple as streaming setup can be, I guess it's good. It does feature a browser-based graphic interface, and this is accessible with different kinds of devices. So this would include computers, smartphones, tablets, and this would allow you to have all kinds of control over the actual product. You do have different kind of power options as well. So, you can have it plugged in, or you could have it plugged into, let's say, a battery that provides enough power for this to run. You also have support for power over Ethernet, again, USB Type-C chargers, and there are DC power adapters depending on what your needs are. Last but not least, of course, it's small. I do like that it's pretty tiny for what it does, right? So it's an aluminum casing, small LCD for all kinds of status indication, which makes it pretty nice in pretty much any kind of environment, and even in a bright light here, that like white over that blue, very nice. I actually like that a lot. Now, based on some research, there are some negatives, of course. Number one is there is they say limited NDI support. So it doesn't support full NDI or NDI HB decoding. So if you need if you need this, you may need some additional tools. There are some recording limitations. Again, 4K 30. So if you are someone that needs 4K 60 or higher, not going to get that. But if you need 4K 30 or 1080p 60, you should be good. Storage constraints, it doesn't really have any, because you can just kind of pop in micro SD cards or record directly to a USB stick or a USB external hard drive. So that's pretty good. It does have a fan, which does add a little bit of noise, not a lot, but a little bit. And if you were doing long run, like streaming or recording, I would possibly be a little concerned that there is the possibility of overheating. Not that I've encountered it, of course, but it could be there. And because it's a little more advanced with not just, HDMI in and USB out to your computer, there's a bit of a learning curve, right? So you have to use some of their software. And if you are new to streaming or capture, then, you have to spend some time with this and realize that it's not just, plug it in and you're good to go. You may have to play around a little bit with it. But, overall, I think, again, the Zowie box, ZowieTek, offers a range of features that are, pretty suitable, pretty beneficial, possibly for people with various streaming needs or just recording applications, which is probably what I would use this for. There are, of course, some limitations, but I do think based on its price, it's a decent option. Very nice. This is the ZowieTek. HDMI and NDI recorder and streaming box. So I'll put links down below if you guys are interested at all in this. Um, that's it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the little notification bell, and I'll see you lovely people next video. Later.